Yes, it's on live. I put it in the chat box, the link, so you can share it.
Shubham karoti kalyanam आरोग्यम धन संपदा शत्रु बुद्धि विनाशाय दीप ज्योति नमस्तुते.
Sorry. Yes, once again.
शुभम करोति कल्याणम आरोग्यम धन संपदा शत्रु बुद्धि विनाशाय दीप ज्योति नमस्तुते. आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग, गुड मॉर्निंग, वणक्कम, सत श्री अकाल, खुशामदीद. I'm your host and host, Dr. Bhavna Chibber, on the behalf of Skill Lab Incorporation and ACE Coacher and ACE International Singapore. I extend a very warm welcome to all of you present here for this session. Today, you're watching the first session of the first season of Educatque series. Today, we are launching the Educatque series, wherein aces in their field will joining us and will express their opinion. On this platform, they will get a complete freedom to share their inner feelings straight from heart. Today, I just want to share the vision and the mission of this talk series. Our mission of this talk series is to building educators' excellence to give all the students the opportunity for success. And our vision is that every student in India is taught by an excellent teacher and supported by effective leaders. We believe intentional, sustained, and high quality investment in educators directly result in success for all the students and are essential to eliminating equality gaps. Season 1, Session 1 is based on the topic Empowered Teachers, Empowered Students. And let me introduce you with the topic. An empowered teacher has enough resources and freedom to provide every student with the education that they deserve. The importance of being empowered can also be illustrated by its role in increasing teacher motivation, improving problem-solving skills, and making students empowered. Why I selected this topic? Because it is very close to my heart. Starting this startup, which I have just named here, and I have a collaboration with ACE International in Singapore, my mission is to just give a kind of an enlightening teacher program. My one initiative will provide the trainings, while the second initiative is in the mission to collect all the coaches throughout the world and just keep them at one platform wherein the parents and students can be a part of it. So I wholeheartedly welcome you all, and you all know that we have a galaxy of educators here, and they all are really an epitome of success. Let me introduce, first of all, being a special guest from Singapore, Dr. B. Ramanathan, founder and managing director, ACE International Private Limited, Singapore, as a speaker of the session, who is an author, a leader, WSQ-ACTCA certified trainer, and a mentor with a rich experience of 20 years in the field of research and innovation. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir, and please just
Thank you. Thank
give
you.
In 1 minute your opening remark.
It's a great pleasure and honor to be invited for this wonderful forum, Educatque. It's a kind of innovative idea from Dr. Bhavna. Always she is having that kind of extra mile journey to take in her life. I appreciate that. Even many teachers or many faculties who are working in institutions, they don't want, because they already bounded with a lot of commitments and the contributions for their routine jobs. But there are few people only, they are taking these kind of beyond the box kind of opportunities to create, and they are moving further and the farthermost. So I'm also one of the professional and entrepreneurial mindset person. I would like to think, how do we able to improve and get integrate with the leading life, that is the transformational life. So we have to make ourselves hands together and making this panel session wonderful for the people who wanted to listen and take away some salient features and important points to note down for both teachers and students. Without them, the schools may not be flourished well. So they are the future workforces for us, especially the students who are emerging out from the institutions. I would like to listen from others as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable time with us. Now, I would like to share about Mrs. Anju Mehrotra, Principal of Kalka Group of Institutions, as a speaker of the session, who is an author, administrator, CBSE resource person, philanthropist, visionary, and I lost my words because I don't have so many words to just talk about her. She is the woman known for her work in society. She is famous social activist, and the list is so on. We welcome you, ma'am, in this show, being a panelist in this show. Just share a brief profile or brief introduction of yours, an opening remark. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, Namaskar, Bhavna ji. Wonderful initiative, I must say. And it's a platform where we all can get together and share our ideas and thoughts. No doubt that empowered teachers are only going to empower the students. So I feel that in 21st century, what we basically need is sharing our thoughts, sharing our experiences, and emphasizing more on the experiential learning. So end of it is education, that is going to lead us, and it's not going to follow. So we don't have to stick to our past. We don't have to keep ourselves chained to our past, but we need to really move forward. But don't forget that our past is equally important, and that has got an heritage which really needs to be passed on to the future generation. So let's be a combination, a blend of modern and traditional ideas and thoughts, and be the change we really want to see in the society. God bless.
Thank you so much, Anju ma'am, and we're really blessed with your presence. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Now I am just searching my vocabulary to introduce a kind of a personality which I feel like that I don't have words to. I believe a complete episode can be over when I start sharing about Dr. Dheeraj Mehrotra. So, we have today Dr. Dheeraj Mehrotra, Principal of Hoover Global School, as a speaker of the session, who is a former Vice President at the Next Education India Private Limited, a national awardee, educator, honored by the President of India. He has published over 45 books, an instructor, a mentor with rich experience of 30 years in the field of education. And today we will be getting an expert advice in this session. And your pearls of wisdom, I believe that we all will appreciate, sir. And over to you, Dr. Dheeraj, because मेरे ना शब्दकोश में वो शब्द खत्म हो गए कि मैं आपकी पर्सनालिटी का व्याख्यान कितना करूं और कैसे करूं. So, over to you.
Thank you so much. I believe I am a learner for life. I believe in learning to learn. right? And it is all that I feel that being with wonderful speakers at this platform, I am really honored, privileged to be a party to this evening, and I fully look forward to whatever I can take back from deliberations through this platform. So I believe, as I said, the more we learn, the more we earn in terms of honor, recognition, and pride. So that is what I'm pursuing. And thank you so much for inviting me at this platform. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this opportunity to be part of this session. And I believe you are you are a true example of a lifelong learner. That's what you started your introduction. And we have one more lifelong learner, Shri Mohan Pradeep Sharma. I believe that he doesn't need an introduction, especially for us, those who are like a child in front of him, because he's a UNESCO former teacher trainer. He has started his foundation called Voice of Choice. He has 12-year tenure as a senior vice president at JP Group, and it has 12 schools. He is a deputy national director at SOS India, worked with SARC nations, and many more. So I invite wholeheartedly as a panelist, Shri MP Sharma ji, and sir, please share your opening remark with us.
Thank you, Bhavna, and thank you, Dr. Ram, and the other panelists. It's big joy to be a part of this very beautiful initiative, which Bhavna ji leads from the front, and she being a very passionate learner, I think has very thoughtfully invited us all. Well, I am basically a sportsman turned into the education teacher trainer. The paradigm shift in the education gives me a scope to enter into the NEP initiatives. The shift from the what to learn to how to learn, which has been a domain associated with sports. My association with sport goes with Asian Games in Delhi and World Cup. So education, I have been in the education management in India with the two chains of schools. One is called Harman Minor Schools, which is of the SOS Children Villages of India. I was at the helm when the schools were initiated. Similarly, also the 27 schools of the JP groups, which are spread in 5 states. I was with them for good 27 years. I think it's a wonderful time for private players because answer to the implementation of the national education policy is nothing else but public-private partnership, what we say PPP. So I've got a foundation which is registered with the government, and it addresses the paradigm shift from what to learn to how to learn. So wonderful, have a best time, and good luck to all of you. Have a pleasant evening on the discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and be with us for this panel discussion. Now, without taking much time, I'll just introduce you with the kind of scenario, with the kind of a flow of the session. There will be 3 rounds. 2 rounds will be questioning round, and the 3rd round will be the rapid fire round, wherein I will be asking you 2 questions, and it will be very interesting one. So let's start with Dr. Ram. Dr. Ram, first question goes to you. In your opinion, do you agree that government policies to empower students and teachers had a positive impact on the education sector in the last year?
Is a great question. After introducing the new education policy by the government, actually it was well researched and designed for the sake of how to empower the teachers, especially because now we are in the era of different group of personalities like non-millennials, millennials, new generation. How do we able to engage them together? Because there are teachers who are being in the level of non-millennials, or they are in the millennial level. That, but the new generation kids are entirely different in their mindset. How do we engage them? So it is all putting with the kind of conditions. How do we design the curriculum? How do we make the extracurricular or core curricular activities? Because it is the way we can engage the technologies as well as the environment, rightly pointed out by the speakers already. We are in the conditions to cope up with the real-time scenario. So we have to engage and educate them. That is the purpose of new education policy in different level of learning aspects. We will discuss in later period. But these are all the questions putting into the mindset of the people and design the new education policy. They are making the transformational value for the teachers through some orientation program, some workshops and other engagements by attending conferences, education theme oriented conferences and all. That is the way they can able to tune them in their mindset, how to cope up with the current scenario. Even the pandemic situation hit everywhere all over the world, making the transformation into the home-based learning. Many people, they never think about that earlier, but it was a challenge for many of the teachers how to cope up with the technologies through online platform to engage the students and making them to learn and explore well. So it was the difficult task, but many teachers, I hope they overcome with that, along with the students' capacity and mentality, because they're not having that kind of scenario earlier, online based education or webinar or some kind of this kind of talk sessions as well. So it was the condition for us to think and making us to transform into the next level of learning and exploration possibilities. Hopefully the new education policy also making some kind of integrated holistic way of approach, and that is very much important as of now. We cannot omit the way only for the curricular learning can able to build the capacity, but also the co-curricular, extracurricular, or real-time kind of learning as well, mostly important as of now. We want to go global with the mindset means we must need to complete our skill sets or working ability, how to cope up well for the global challenges. The teachers are having that big task in their hand, and students also must need to cope up well with their conditions of learning atmospheres in the schools or outside the schools. So both we have to make the balance, how to put together, how to enable the group to engage and explore very well. These are all the values. Hopefully, the new education policies have given certain kind of values, but it will be getting improved by due course of time. We have to review, analyze, and improve the strategies. We cannot able to fit for everything on one day or same time, but we have to cultivate ourselves to make some kind of progressive changes or the strategies which are formulated towards the next level of improvement or upscaling level of conditions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ram, for sharing your views on the question. And I believe you have justified the answer also, because you talked about transformation of values, and you said that the current policy which has come up, it has given or touched all the factors which we were affecting. And what you embed is the progressive approach. So thank you so much. And we have a very young speaker with us. And in this galaxy, this young child, I apologize for this reason that I just forgot to introduce her while. So I'll introduce her first, because she's very, very near to me, dear to me. She's my daughter. and I just introduce her, and then I'll ask question from her on. So we have Shri with us. Shri is a soft skill trainer. She has trained more than thousands of individuals on international etiquettes, such as the ABCs of parenting and science of well-being from Yale University. And personally, I have experience because I've conducted courses of, I've given this opportunity in my school, and my students were really praising her a lot. So we welcome you, Shri, and please spare me for this gustaki that I missed your name, dear.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been a delight to be a part of this session with you, everybody here out there. It's my learning phase. Yes, I'm learning a lot from all of you, and it's a great platform. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Thank you so much for the opening remark. And I would like to ask a question from you, Shri.
Yes.
What do you feel the most exciting or effective learning environment would be for teachers and students both?
Right. So I believe the most important aspect in a safe and a positive learning environment is the rapport between the teacher and his or her students. So when the student understands that the teacher cares about them and wants them to do well, the students feel comfortable in asking questions as well. Right. So making mistakes and taking risk in order to learn something new. So they don't blindly listen to the teacher. If you make a relationship with the student, they will automatically start understanding the teacher and learning from them. So we should all admit when we don't know anything. So like students will appreciate that when we show our humanity, saying that I'm not really sure or doesn't know anything, or we can look it up. So these are the powerful statements that we can use with the student. Also, we should remain calm at all times. So once a teacher loses it with a class or a student, it takes time to rebuild that feeling of safety and trust within those four walls. So we should step outside, take a deep breath, and then come back and take the charge. Also take opportunities to model kindness, and all the students will follow you. Like circulating, so mingling, we should monitor our students' work. We should give them opportunities that we should sit with them, talk to them, so that we'll know that what is going on within the class, what are the negative tensions, and also the positive energies and the thought process that our children possess. And also smile often. So the Antiquity says that teacher's profession that we should wait for Christmas to smile. This is just a plain silly thing. We should smile and let the children see our pearl whites often and genuinely. The more we smile, we offer the students the same reciprocate. And also the students would know, they know the vibe around. So no matter how young the child is, when the teacher is not happy, joy can be contagious, but misery is also. So maybe you should take a break and come back with the same charge and let the student do their own problem solving. So these are the few things that I would say.
Thank you so much. You have given us the mantra to be happy and smile always. Fine. So that's why you keep a very beautiful smile on your face always. Now I got the reason. So, Shri, you have answered very well, that you have just emphasized on the relationship between the teacher and the student, and how you have to remain calm in all kind of circumstances. This is how you can build. Thank you so much, Shri. And now I would like to ask my next question from Sharma sir. Sir, my question to you is, as we can see, coding and programming is being focused in many institutions. Can you suggest other skills or expertise can be included rather than coding for students' development?
Well, before I answer the question, I think big round of applause for Shri for being a participant with the very seasoned, panelist, and she has, I think, surpassed all the expectations which we would have had from Our Anushri, well done. And our all
Thank
good
you, sir.
wishes for you to bring in some
Thank
fresh
you.
ideas being youngsters. You have already made it. Coming down to, coding. You see, this new education policy has brought in for young children two very big initiatives. One is coding and the second is the bagless school. The integration of vocational skills with the education. I don't think we must look for an alternate to all those initiatives which the government has started. But all said and done, given a opportunity to look for an alternate of coding, which I don't think we should, first of all, because coding leads to problem solving. Design thinking is absolutely missing in the Indian scenario. Neither the teachers are oriented nor the students are. So we must continue. My first suggestion is this. The second thing which I would like to take, the paradigm shift in this policy is to meta learning, what we say learning to learn. And learning to learn, so far we have taught our children only to consume knowledge and vomit marks. This is the first time we will be making them as co-creators in the knowledge. So equity is one thing which is very important, which we can introduce for the youngsters. That is one suggestion I have, that in case meta learning, because students have to be prepared for meta learning. For a longer time, they were oriented, our teachers were oriented for what to learn. This major shift, if it is only one stakeholder who is prepared for it, and the other stakeholder remains as ignorant about the change. So meta learning can be introduced for these students. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Your mantra, learning to learn, we have understood and we will share with all our members, all the educators and the students. And you have rightly said that it's a major shift from we need to prepare the students for the meta learning. Thank you so much, sir, for this brilliant answer. Now, my next question is for Dr. Dheeraj Mehrotra. Sir, do you think school staff collectively brainstorms on resolutions to provide effective learning? What is your take on it, sir?
Well, see, we as heads of schools need to motivate and bring out a learning environment wherein they discover themselves of what is right and what's the best way to teach. But alas, sorry to say, there's always an uphill task for heads of schools to try to make them believe of the fact that you be the mentor and you teach that colleague. So it is obviously the learning has to be continuous, teaching has to be continuous, and learning practice has to be continuous, because we need to restore the high respect and the status of the profession to inspire and motivate our teachers. So I believe, like in other HR issues, in any organization, even teaching world or a school or an academic organization also faces the same issues, which henceforth now requires HR as a priority. There are comparatives, there are, always on a touch hold, that you give them a task, they'll say, why only me? And then after, if you recognize them, then they say what she has done or what he has done. So we also make it a point very clear that you're recognized by your efforts and you have to prove yourself every day. Result is not the ultimate. Okay. Your classroom environment, your connect with the students, and the wow spectrum which you deliver once you enter the classroom, whether aap aaye bahar gayi or I, has to be the deciding factor about your contributions. You know, it is not only what else you do in the school is a priority for recognition to be given. So I believe that as an educator, every teacher has to come forward and look out with the best foot forward. Apart from being a teacher, how best you can contribute in order to develop that recognition at the workplace. So then only, because you have to impress them every day, and the children, the parents, the management, the principal, you know, there are so many stakeholders which you need to impress on priority to govern that recognition. And yes, of course, the other side of it is, yes, as heads of schools, we need to monitor how best the children are being addressed to by these teachers. What is their current initiative? Whether they are hard workers or street smart workers, we need to convert them into believing in the fact that there has to be working the talk rather than just be talking the talk and walking the talk. So that is my priority, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this viewpoint. Ki aap aaye bahar, I ya gai. So wow spectrum is very, very important. I believe being the leaders or those who are listening to our show, they must have taken this point. Yes, indeed, inspiration and motivation are two keys of success. So we need to do this kind of policy, which you said that HR issues are there. And you're absolutely right. Being the leader in the institution, we all face this kind of a recurring problem again and again. And I always quote, you said that how best you can. I always quote this thing that give your best, best will come to you. So this is what the mantra is. So now, thank you so much, sir. My next question goes to our panelist, Ms. Anju Mehrotra.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
Bhavna ji.
question for you is, did professional development activities has a positive impact on your career growth at the institute or school?
No doubt, no doubt. It says, you know, the professional development, you know, actually it helps the employees, you know, to continue, not only to be competent in their own professions, you know, but also how to excel in that. It should also be an ongoing process. That's what I believe, that continues, you know, their knowledge to, and as far as their individual careers are concerned, that also get affected. So knowledge and skill, you know, that should stay relevant, that should stay update. For that, it is very important that we should keep on growing professionally. And one has to create a very, very conducive environment, and that kind of environment wherein a flexible environment, in fact, a liberal environment wherein everybody should be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Because we keep on changing, and we should not forget that we are the 21st century products, you know, and we have to create, we have to build those kind of skills in our children, in our learners. And these learners, since they are very, very smart these days, since they are very, very tech savvy these days, so the challenge, in fact, you know, is more on the educators, right? So to keep themselves updated, like we the teachers, you know, I mean, before really even going to the class, you know, before even talking to them, we should be mentally and emotionally prepared. And not just that, we should be keeping ourselves updated as far as the latest information is concerned for anything. Because our students, they know much better than us. So it is always better, you know, to collaborate with them and start learning, you know, from them only. So once, you know, the teacher plays a role of just a facilitator with professionally growing himself or herself, the road, you know, becomes something, that will be very easy for both the learner and the taught, the teacher and the taught, and the learner. That way, of course, both of them will be able to sail together. So learning environment has to be created, which needs to be very, very conducive and flexible. So the modern approach also, especially NEP, that recommends that we have to have a very, that kind of approach wherein our children, they are ready to collaborate, they are ready to communicate with each other. And the most important of it all is to develop their skills. The skills which they are going to develop are really going to help them, in the times to come. So the future, when we see that the future lies in AI and coding and programming, but the basic aspect we should not forget, the basic dimension that is there is about the human values and the life skills. So all said and done, we will grow professionally. That's absolutely fine. But we should not forget that Guru Parampara, which used to be there, that Guru Shishya. So the kind of, again, the relationship what we have to have with our learners, that should always remain. And that is something which is really going to create the environment which will help both the learners and the facilitator to grow together. So again, collaborate, change the scenario, change even the idioms which are existing, change the edge, and let's move together and sail together. That's what I believe.
Yeah, thank you so much. You have absolutely answered this question very well. And I just want to conclude this, whatever you have said, that you want the smart citizens with Indian ethos.
No doubt.
Because we need to, and this is a time wherein you just shared about that this is the time wherein we are looking for felicitator. That means now is the time wherein we require mentors. We don't require teachers who are going in a class and just talking and writing on a blackboard. Now we need a mentor, those who have planned well and then execute well. This is what you have shared with us now.
I always believe, that one should remain a curious learner, always. That the factor of curiosity should always remain alive in us. We should be the learners first before we want our learners to learn anything. As what Dr. Dheeraj has also emphasized, that we are all the lifelong learners. And this reminds me, what Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam always used to give this example, that if you give, say, money and bananas to the monkeys, right? He is going to pick up the bananas because he doesn't know that with money he can buy the bananas, right? The same way, if you keep, say, money and wisdom, in front of a human being, probably he is going to pick up that money because he doesn't know, right? Again, that he cannot buy, that wisdom, that intellect with that money, right? So something that has to go on. We are going to learn, and everything we can become, the wise person only when there is a desire to learn. So that the fire within should always be ignited, that fire should remain lit, that we are the learners first to grow professionally, because this is our profession, and that fire has to be there within.
Yes.
That's it.
And that fire has to be transmitted among our educators as well as our learners.
That is contagious.
That's
contagious.
Yeah. So
as like is.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And here we end with the round 1 of the questions. Now let's start with rounds 2. And the first question is for Shri. Shri, what are the essential practices of teachers in a system where students are learning outside the school?
So I feel the learning experience outside the classroom is much more intricately multidisciplinary. So there are various ways that we can say. First is by making learning relevant. So when we talk about learning outside the classroom, teachers have various opportunities to try to learn concepts and experiences more real and applicable by using them in the accurate context. So many times when teachers unable to explain any difficult concept in the classroom can easily understand when they replace the classroom to the outside experiences. Second, I would say nurture creativity and imagination. So taking students outside the classroom is actually opening wings of the students. So in open fresh air, students explore a lot of creative ideas, and they come up with new imaginary ideas that actually relate to the context that they are learning. Third, I can say develop learning through experimentation. So the teachers are not supposed to know all the things, and so the students don't really know unless the teacher make them understand with experimental proofs and the learning concepts. So they should remember that the boring concepts can be learned well in the outside learning environment. Also, they can reduce behavioral problems. So when learning outside the classroom means execution management of behavioral issues, this way teachers can teach the morals and actually the ethical values to the students. And they should expose new opportunities for the students. So when they learn beyond the walls of the classroom, they do not just wander on the process of just doing imagination, but they actually feel the concept, which results in invention of new opportunities and creative thinking. Learning experiences outside the classrooms are never forgettable. This is my take on this.
Thank you so much. So now Anushri talk about a very important aspect, that is hands-on learning. There is a saying which says that if you will learn something, you will remember for a short time. But if you will just involve in and engage in that particular learning, then you will remember for life. So this is what you said, that you said it's nurture creativity and imagination, and learning through experimentation always support the learners to learn more. And basically it create curiosity among learners. And they have n number of questions, maybe infinity I can put. If you just give them this kind of a privilege, they will ask you n number of questions. And I always tell my teacher that you do one thing, you tell them not to find the answers, you tell them to just find the questions for you. And then this is the way you can learn more. So thank you so much. Outside classroom, we can learn as maximum as we can. So thank you so much. Again, I say thanks to Tanushri. Now my next question goes to Dr. Dheeraj. So, question for you is, does every school establish conditions that support and stimulate good results and skill development?
Well, now ever since CBSE has initiated these tasks, so I think all the schools have become so much of quality conscious, and henceforth they not only talk about going for ISOs and other assessment and recognition, they also tend to reflect how to impress their parents and above all the other stakeholders. So it has become a priority now. Once upon a time, there used to be something like you have a smart class, or you something like, they used to benchmark on quality initiatives. But now the vendors are actually targeting the initiatives in a big way, and it has become a priority. So no longer do we talk about comparative analysis. We talk about what best we can deliver, because there are questions from the parents and from the students who look forward to having it as a priority. Like a digital campus is a requisite now, which used to be once upon a time a cosmetic for any school to go and come along to fetch students. But now it's a priority. Even NEP says that yes, there has to be a provision of a system wherein you can turn yourself online anytime, and hence the window of opportunity to reskill and upskill the teachers has become shorter. And above all, one must act how to train the vast chunk of the youth, particularly we talk about skill education. Now, to what aspect? There are ways when we say that entrepreneurial education or startup has to be initiative at the school level. What is the reflection? Like the constitution itself, NEP 2020 has to lead us to a different world out of decades of dilemma and the doubt which was there overall now. So maybe the moment we start implementing that aspect, I think all the stakeholders, particularly the teachers, will have to look forward for a holistic development, not only for their students, but for themselves, for
Yes.
achieving their true potentials, you know. So we all need a revisiting on that. Even the B.Ed structure has to be reinvented and remodeled, because catering to the needs that the child has to be taught all the subjects, he can have or she can have a choice over so many things. Art subject or humanities can be learned out of with interest of physics and science as well. You know, to go together, we are all talking about it, but when it reality, it is going to be implemented. I think it's high time for all of us to have a brainstorming through these platforms so that we get to know how to go about it, you know. And that is what is the reflective idea I would suggest and come over to with high respect and esteem to the people who are partnering it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dheeraj Mehrotra. And you have just shared a valid point here, because already the government has done a lot of work in it. I've seen the skill development website. There they have mentioned each and everything, and they have taken care of each and every aspect very minutely. But nobody has seen that. Nobody has even think that this kind of a work can be done by the authorities. So here to talk about the how we can establish the condition and that support these stimulate good results. See, you rightly said that digital campus and all these things are the prerequisite. When we talk about school, we assume that school must have smart class, the school must have all these infrastructure, IT lab, and all these things must be there. So now, yes, and again, you have raised a very valid point here. Now the emphasis which NAP is focusing on the parent. So everybody is focusing on this triangle. See, we have to complete this triangle: parent, teacher, and student. So everybody is with, if we have, if we want 180 plus 180 degree, that means 360-degree transformation, then we need to touch all the three sides of the triangle. So thank you, Dr. Dheeraj, for your valuable insight. And I believe this answer will certainly help everyone to understand that what kind of a way forward we have. Thank you so much, sir. And now my next question is to Sharma, sir. Sir, the question for you is, how many teaching skills does a modern teacher need to have? A very important question, and I believe this must be very close to your heart. Sir, please answer this question.
Absolutely, I will. Before coming to this question, I think after hearing Dheeraj and Anjuji, and of course Bhavna herself, it looks India is in the safe hands. I used to initially worry a lot the kind of age group I belong to, although they are numbered. You see, the whole lot of change lies in the pedagogical leader. There is absolutely no replacement of teacher whatsoever. And before we talk about the skills, it is the mindset which has to be changed of the entire school fraternity. Because there is a major shift. I'm continuing with my last comment. I said meta learning. You see, learning as assessment is never known to the academician. The biggest worry is I was working on Parak. When the whole U-turn takes place in the assessment, so far the assessment of learning for learning has been done. Once the student become assessor of their own self, are they prepared for it? Eventually they will. You see, our worry is very simple. I have done a lot of teachers training and it is very close to my heart. I've been a PRT, I've been a TGT. The main game changer is the principal, the pedagogical leader, who will provide all the vision, mission, and action to the teacher. If we have enlightened leaders like Anjuji, I am simply sometimes surprised because she always beats her age and she comes out with very, very classical thoughts. When I got invite from her, I'll tell you, I get invite from two kind of principals. One, those who want to create their student as co-creator of knowledge. They don't want to create marks vomiters. Those of them who want to go for a quick change, and Kalka Public School was one of them. So, the leaders have to lead the entire process from the front. Teachers have shown their hands during the pandemic. You see, teaching fraternity is majority is female. In the pandemic, we all were locked and they were all our female teachers were doing a dual job. One, they switched over from face-to-face learning to the online learning. They could do it because the principals were at the back. Whatever still is needed, I will talk about. You see, they have never been taught design thinking. Never. In B.Ed, the worst job is done by our B.Ed college. They haven't taught curriculum design. They haven't taught instructional design. I recall when I was taken into the UNESCO fold in way back 1983, I was first made to undergo a 6 months long program doing design thinking. If you want to switch over to the problem-based learning module of teaching, teachers have to know what is design thinking, what is problem solving. They themselves are unfamiliar with it. If you read entire national curriculum 4.4 onward, the entire burden is with the teacher. It is the teacher who is bringing the sea change in the teaching learning situation. So all these are very well mentioned very clearly by Government of India. In 5.15, they have listed that this 50 hours training has to be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas. For instance, competency-based education, experiential learning, assessment as learning. These are some of the areas. And what is a major worry is, I'll tell you, there's another major worry. Bhavnaji, I am very frank and blunt. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, on completion of 1 year of a national education policy, very clearly came out and said the areas which were so far being treated as post-scholastic are finding ways as pedagogies. That is what is my major worry. Sport as a pedagogy. 7 periods, from 1 period to 7 periods. I'll tell you, he will not hesitate in making organizational change. Minister change, CBSE chairman change, secretary change. I'm not trying to create a narrative that it will be done, of course, but then pedagogical leaders have to understand that all these areas which were at one time extracurricular, co-curricular, now it is scholastic, curricular activity. Making them as a mode of pedagogy will be a big challenge for one and all, how to go about. The arts integrated learning, AIL has come in, sport has come in, storytelling has come in, puppetry has walked in, a bagless school has walked in. So there are n number of skills that this teacher is expected to have. Somewhere along the line, what Dheeraj was saying, the HR issue, which I want to raise, is unknown to many of our principals. It is not only always the money. I have been a PRT. Job enrichment and job enlargement, these two areas, without making any monetary benefit to the teacher. If you enlarge their jobs according to their performance, or if you enrich their jobs, their performance will tremendously affect. So, one is the mindset, the other is the skill part, and the other is the motivational part. The motivational factors can be created by none other than our principal. And they all are very large-hearted. I'm very happy to hear Anju, Dheeraj, and Bhavna itself. I have visited our school. I think India, when I say is in safe hand, means we will make a very swift change from what we are and what we are to be in 2030. Thank you very much. And I'm very glad to hear this girl, Shri. She gives a tinkle at heart, I'll tell you. Hearing youngsters like her, it gives you a feel that we are on a very, very right path. Shri, all the best and my all good wishes. A lot of blessings.
Thank you, sir. Means a
all
lot.
of you.
Thank you.
All of you. No, it is. You were sizzling completely, I'll tell you. I've spent in 47 years in education. I think first time I got feel that our youngsters are nowhere lagging. All the best, stay blessed, and also to Dheeraj and to Anjuji and Bhavna. Well done, I think. You
Thank
people
you so much,
have
sir.
absolutely well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I believe everyone has understood what is in your heart, and you just spoke straight from your heart that yes, this is what we require, what kind of skills we require, and this is what you shared right now: mindset, skill set, and motivation factor we require, and job enrichment, job enlargement we need to focus on. So thank you so much, sir, for your pearls of wisdom. And now my next
Here I add on,
question is,
Bhavna. Just a second, here I add on. सोचने
Yeah.
से कहाँ मिलते हैं तमन्नाओं के शहर, चलना भी जरूरी है मंजिल पाने के लिए. So हम चलते रहेंगे क्योंकि हम जानते हैं कि सफर अभी बाकी है. न थके हैं अभी पैर, अभी हिम्मत ना हारी है, हौसले हैं जिंदगी में कुछ कर दिखाने का, इसलिए अभी सफर जारी है. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Big joy.
Thank
Big
you.
joy.
Yeah.
वहां तूफान भी हार जाते हैं जहां कश्तियां जिद पर होती हैं। एक ही लाइन है बस।
बहुत बढ़िया।
हाँ जी। अब I believe Anushri, you know why I called you in this panel? Because I want that vibrance of this young generation. Because now here we are in this panel, we are having educators from all age group. So next question over to you, Anushri. What are the, oh sorry, I've already asked this question to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So next question is for Dr. Ram. Anushri, I'm so sorry. Dr. Ram, the question is for you. Do you think standardized testing is the most effective way to judge learning? How can we judge the skill set and the overall development of the students? Over to you, sir.
Again, it is the wonderful question. When we are justifying or judgmenting something, we must need to think about how to make ourselves analyze the factors and review the conditions, and how to make the possibility, especially for the people who can able to adapt and apply. As I am now in Singapore, I could able to learn and explore in the atmosphere of institutions where it is getting transformed into the level of institute industry partnership kind of ecosystem. As rightly pointed out by other people, the conditions must need to connect to the reality in the ground level, what is going on, how it is going to get the changes into the adaptation of digital transformation, or any disruption it is going to make the real condition to be stimulated or formulated in such a way. Recently, I could able to come across the conditions now we are endorsing. The people must need to learn and explore, especially the skills. We have to justifying them whether they have correctly learned the system to adapt and apply. That is the condition we wanted to test. So my way of learning also in adult learning and continuing education kind of atmosphere, we wanted to create the assessment conditions. It is going to make evidence based. Evidence based means it is not only the recording the test paper and other things, but also reflecting whether they have the idea to accumulate into the body, like KSD, knowledge, skill sets, and aptitude. So that is the way we have to conduct the assessment. So judgment of learning is nothing but it is underpinning the knowledge and performance values to build up into the mindset of the person to learn, understand, and reflect. That is the way they can retention it for the future values to apply wherever, whenever, whatever the way they can able to face the challenge or the conditions. They can able to do the better things for the requirements. That is the way only. Now it is going to start from the pedagogical learning atmosphere itself, because young minds are now very bright. As rightly pointed out, we can see the brightness of Anushri, how she is shining with her ability and knowledge. And that is the way the youngsters are having the wonderful atmospheres to expose to the world, because it is all fingertip to them into the silicon conditions, as the gadgets are spreading the way how to connect and contribute well for the global scenario. So we must need to think how to enable the people world competent. It is not the regional or local level, but it should be a kind of world competency we have to endorse, because MNC companies are spreading all over the world, and they are requiring the person who can able to come and join in their organization or industry. They must need to endorse the value, how to improve the strategy for the human to make the personality values, professional values, entrepreneurial skill sets, leadership mindset all together. It is not only the way how do they able to educate and engage the life, but also for their conditions how to reflect and retention for the requirements. So problem solving skills are very important as of now, very very much demanded everywhere, lot of problems, but they can't able to find out the person who can able to contribute well for the solutions, which are very much demanded as of now, not only for the institutions, also the organizations and government as well. So we have to focus certain way. I can able to mention Bloom's taxonomy. We can able to think and adapt for justification of learning and judgment of testing. So we have to think how do we able to adapt. Students, when they are getting the process of learning from most fundamental or remembering kind of situation, we have to ensure their understanding pattern, and then more complex evaluating the conditions when any new things are created. That is very, very important. Building upon each level, the lesson plans or any guidance we are formulating for the students to think, it must be increasingly improve the values as well as making the comfortability of learning to ensure. That is the way the Bloom taxonomy is a good pattern for assessment, always keeping the hierarchy levels which are mentioned clearly with the Bloom's taxonomy to adapt for the assessment criteria and induced any kind of exam patterns or items what we wanted to explore in the higher level of understanding about the cognition when they are reflecting. We must need to ensure, analyze the assessment results which are very much readjusting the course when the objectives are making the assurance for the people to reflect. These are all very important. Cognitive domain of the learning pattern is getting involved now. The mental operations or creative thinking skills must need to induce for the people who can able to reflect perfectly. So without that, we cannot able to assess or test them. That is the improved kind of strategy I wanted to mention here. Uh, Also, Bloom taxonomy is ensuring the learning domains, especially on the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor kind of sensory learning pattern. So we have to think how do we able to integrate all these strategies and making the pattern as holistic way to improve the performance values or underpinning knowledge they have to ensure for the people. That is very, very important as of now. Testing must need to enhance the long-term recall for the people with the materials as well as the conditions. But we have to make ourselves how to connect to the reality or making the contributions in the better way for the learned atmosphere or learned practices. That is very, very important. We want to see the results. It is not only giving the reward or award for the people to take away from the educational institution. Now many institutions they are transforming into entrepreneurial kind of aspects because, as rightly pointed out, we wanted to create more jobs. So the entrepreneurs only can able to support for that kind of atmospheres to create more values and creating more jobs for the conditions. There are a lot of people who are making themselves to fit for the employee status. Even the organizations now they are looking for the opportunity to provide who are having the task completing competency skills. Thus, must because the leadership quality, decision making, problem solving skills, communication skills, leadership kind of attitude in the team, where they are ensuring for their commitments or betterment for the organization. All these together, we have to make the work of learning in the community level when they are in the ecosystem of educational institutions. And teachers, students, parents, they are the triangle system in the educational institution. We have to provide the necessary space for the parents to update their knowledge, understand the pattern of learning system, not only from the school, but also in ensuring all these factors in the home atmospheres. Parents must need to adapt for the current scenario of how the competition is going on. Now everywhere the people they are thinking collaborating with the many institutions, not only in the national level, also international level. That is the policy we are also having with our ACE International. We are signing up the MOU with the other institutions in different countries. How do we able to make the institute industry partnership, making the flourishment as well as nourishment for the requirement of educational pattern, because it is not only classroom bounded or the conditions where the educational institutions now standing for, but it is also going global. So we have to ensure the skill sets and the knowledge, as well as the aptitude, the level of behavioral sense for the people who can able to lift up in their capability building kind of atmospheres. The teachers also very much required for this kind of training. They have to attend so many conferences in the international level. Now also we have the panel from different sectors, not only from India, myself from Singapore and Turkey. So I have been in a lot of my commitment period in the institution level. I could see the transformation, how it endures, not only from India, also from Taiwan and Singapore itself. That is the value we have to focus. That is the value we have to make sure for bridging the gap, up-to-date knowledge, as well as understanding the challenges, how to turn into opportunities for the tomorrow workforces. We are creating the workforces in minds to become tomorrow's workforces. We must need to ensure all these kind of skills correctly evaluated and assessed. They must need to ensure their competency skills support for the requirement of the current scenario as well as future values. Thank you so much, Dr. Mohan.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Ram. I just emphasize on one thing which you shared, that is learn, understand, and reflect. This is most important part, which we somehow miss and we never thought of, that reflection is the key to success. So thank you so much, sir. And Anju ma'am has left the meeting because she has to go. I just thank her. And let's start with round number 3. For this, you have to be very quick, very precise. Here, it's a rapid fire round. Let's have a little bit twist. Let's have a little bit of entertainment and enjoyment in this talk show. I will be asking you 2 questions. One related to your personal life, one related to your professional life. Answer to be very short, 1 word, 1-liner. That's it. Very quick. And I'm not going to announce my order. I will be giving you and reading this question only once. So let's start with Dr. Ram. Your first question is, what is your favorite singer? Who is your favorite singer? Quick,
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
SP Balasubramanian.
Oh, thank you. At what age child should start research work? You're a scholar, tell me. Fast. 1, 2, 3, 4,
15 years.
5,
15 years.
Okay, I took it. We'll discuss further. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Ram. Shri, now it's your turn. Which is your favorite movie?
I would say my favorite movie will be the Tare Zameen Par. That's basically on the kids, where the importance of the learning at different age groups. So that will be my favorite movie.
Okay. How intellectually independent are you?
Intellectually independent, for more than the intellectually independent, I would say I'm emotionally intelligent, so that I can control my own thoughts and down the line give my thought process to the students that I'm teaching to. So yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Now the next question goes to Sharma sir. Sir, what would you name, to whom you would be when you are in a boat in a sea?
Well, I'll be with my wife.
Fine. So, and 1-line message for parents, although you have shared, but 1-line message for parents.
Parents need to be a very active participant in the implementation of any. So I will say, I'll request them to join hands with the schools and do whatever best they can do, because eventually it is affecting their own children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharma sir. Now, last but not the least, Dr. Dheeraj, question to you is, what is the, it is, and I believe it, this question you have never answered and you have never written in your book. What is the craziest thing you have done as a kid?
Craziest thing. Okay.
Yes. Just
Could be like doing anything. Yeah, but yes, I do remember I've been, it's all fun. Now what actually I did, I don't remember, to make it more innovative, creative. But so sure, fun and frolic has always been my desire. No longer being a kid or being an adult or being into this age now. But yes, I love being funny, and I love being learning through the fun and frolic mechanism. Yeah.
okay, fine. And name one ICT tool. You're a computer science teacher. You're from my fraternity, my field. And which ICT tool you use the most nowadays?
I use Canva.com, which is a
Canva.com.
platform
Good.
for designing. Yes.
Compiling and everything. It has beautiful features and easy to use, user friendly. Yeah.
Yes.
So I believe this whole session and this rapid fire round, I just kept it for this reason. Let me know you more. So now just Dr. Dheeraj, you have to thought that what funniest, craziest thing. That's why I specially asked you. Maybe it's a climbing of trees or any craziest thing, jumping from the roof, anything you could recall. So now we came to know
we would
you
jump
love
for bed. Yes, times that was the funny, craziest thing we could ever do. You know, fun with joy, climbing, and that way. Yes, of course.
Yes. So thank you so much. Here I conclude. Before concluding, I must thank all the panelists, those who have spared their valuable time to be with us under the banner of ACE Coacher, Skill Lab, and ACE International. I just conclude with the statement that empowered teachers with increased task motivation, enhanced feeling of meaning, and strong organizational and commitment are the foundation of a dynamic school technology. Yes, of course, we need to have innovative pedagogical practices, and we need to follow the holistic assessment, which we all have started now. Schools can create the conditions in which teachers, as empowered actors, can freely exercise their expert judgment, deal effectively with non-routine challenges, change social structures, and in turn, depend on change structures for self-advancement. Collaborative social structures, including self-managed teams, can serve as vehicles through which the goals of education professionals and schools are achieved. So, with this time, we need to emphasize one most important thing. That's what Sir has said, meta learning. And I always quote that this is a time we need to emphasize on self-learning, which I have just inherited from my mentor, Dr. Pant. And I just conclude this complete session with one of a short poem by me, and हिंदी में है तो मैं कविता इसको कहूंगी, और I'll translate for my listeners, those who can't understand the language. ज्ञान का दीप, खुले आसमान में सुकून कहाँ से आया, हिमालय की वादियों में हरियाली कौन लाया, रात की चुप्पी क्या कहती है, किसने हमें समझाया, माँ की गोद में इतना प्यार, प्रकृति जिसने मोर को नाचना, को चहचहाना और तितली को इठलाना सिखाया, जिसने कलियों को खिलना, भंवरों को गुनगुनाना और लहरों को मदमस्त बनाया। चलो हम आज एक अभियान चलाएं। चलो हम आज एक अभियान चलाएं, स्वयं अध्ययन से स्वयं विद्वता लाएं, अपने अंदर एक ज्ञान का दीप जलाएं। This is, sir, all of you have said lifelong learner. So हमें अपने अंदर एक ज्ञान का दीप जलाना है, और यही चीज this poem reflect that all the things which nature has taught to all the animals, birds, and to the child, they have learned automatically. Nobody has taught us how to use mobile. Nobody has taught us how to be. There was no WhatsApp Academy or YouTube Academy. We all have learned on our own. So let's start with this motion, with this notion that we have to emphasize self-learning. That's why we quote ourselves as lifelong learner. So thank you so much. From bottom of my heart, I thank Dr. Ram, Dr. Dheeraj, Pradeep, Mohan Pradeep sir, Anushri, and the team behind this Skill Lab and ACE Coacher. I thank everybody to make this event successful. Thank you so much.
Thank
Namaskar.
you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.